The air in our living room felt heavy, like the moment before a storm breaks, when the world holds its breath. My wife, Clara, sat across from me on the beige sofa, her hands folded tightly in her lap, fingers twisting the gold band I'd slipped on her finger 10 years ago. Her eyes, usually warm as autumn leaves, darted to the floor, avoiding mine. The silence was a blade, sharp and cold, slicing through the hum of the refrigerator in the kitchen. "We need to talk, David," she said, her voice trembling like a leaf caught in the wind. My stomach churned, not because of her words, but because I'd found the letter in her purse 3 days ago. A letter that wasn't meant for me. I leaned back in the armchair, the leather creaking under my weight, and forced a calm nod. My heart pounded. A traitor betraying the mask of composure I wore. The letter had been folded neatly, tucked between her wallet and a tube of cherry lipstick. "Meet me at the cabin Saturday. We'll figure it out." The words had seared themselves into my mind, each one a spark igniting doubt, fear, and a strange, hollow ache. I'd spent nights since then lying awake. The ceiling fans were mocking my sleeplessness, wondering who Art was and why Clara's laughter had felt so distant lately. "David," she began again, her voice softer now, almost pleading. "I've been thinking about us. About our future." Her fingers tightened around her ring, and I noticed her nails, usually manicured, were bitten down to the quick. A small detail, but it gnawed at me. A red flag I'd ignored too long. I wanted to scream, to demand who was, to shake the truth out of her, but I stayed still, my hands gripping the armrests like lifelines. "I think we need a change," she said, her eyes finally meeting mine, glossy with unshed tears. Maybe some time apart." The room spun for a moment, the lamplight casting shadows that danced like ghosts on the walls. Time apart. The words felt like a punch, stealing my breath, but I'd known this was coming. The late-night phone calls she'd taken in the bathroom, the way she'd started locking her phone, the faint scent of unfamiliar cologne on her scarf last week. It all pointed to a truth I didn't want to face. Yet I'd rationalized it. Clara was stressed, I told myself. Work was demanding. She'd never betray me. But the letter had shattered that fragile denial, and now her words confirmed it. "Why?" I asked, my voice steady despite the storm raging inside. I needed her to say it, to admit it, to give me a reason to hate her or forgive her. Her lips parted, then closed, as if the truth was too heavy to speak. The clock on the mantel ticked, each second a hammer against my resolve. "Clara, just tell me. What's changed?" She swallowed hard, her throat bobbing. "It's not you, David. See, I don't know who I am anymore." Her voice cracked, and a tear spilled down her cheek, catching the light like a diamond. "I love you, but I feel trapped, like I'm losing myself." Her words were a knife, twisting in my chest. They sounded sincere, but I saw the lie in the way her hands trembled, the way she couldn't hold my gaze for long. She was protecting someone named R. I wanted to believe her. God, I wanted to. 10 years of mornings waking up to her humming in the kitchen, of her hand in mine during late-night walks, of her laughter filling the empty spaces in my heart. It all begged me to trust her. But the letter burned in my memory, and the weight of her secrets pressed against my ribs. "Trapped," I echoed, tasting the word like bitter medicine. "Is that why you've been sneaking off? Why you're meeting someone at a cabin tomorrow?" Her face froze, eyes wide, like a deer caught in headlights. The air thickened, charged with the electricity of a truth exposed. "What?" she whispered, her voice barely audible. Her hands dropped to her sides, limp, as if the fight had drained out of her. I stood, my legs unsteady, and pulled the folded letter from my pocket. I'd carried it like a wound, unable to let it go. I held it out, my hand shaking despite my effort to stay calm. "Where did you get that?" Her voice was sharp now, defensive, and it cut deeper than her tears. She reached for the letter, but I pulled it back, my anger finally breaking through. "I found it in your purse," I said, my voice low, dangerous. "Who's our Clara? Who are you meeting at the cabin?" My heart screamed for her to deny it, to say it was a mistake, a misunderstanding, but her silence was louder than any confession. She sank back onto the sofa, her face crumpling like paper. "It's not what you think," she said finally, her voice small, fragile. "Is Rachel, my sister." The words hit me like a slap, and for a moment I faltered. Rachel, her older sister, who lived 3 states away. But the doubt lingered, a shadow that refused to dissipate. She's been helping me plan something. For us. For you. Her eyes searched mine, desperate for belief, but the cracks in her story were too wide. Then why hide it? I demanded, stepping closer, the letter crumpling in my fist. Why the secrets, Clara? Why the locked phone, the late nights, the lies? My voice rose, raw with the pain I'd bottled up for weeks. I wanted to shake her, to make her feel the weight of my heartbreak. But I stopped short, my hands clenched at my sides. She stood, her movements jerky, and crossed to the window, staring out at the dark street. The rain had started, soft patters against the glass, mirroring the chaos inside me. I didn't want to hurt you, she said, her back to me. I was going to tell you tomorrow at the cabin. Rachel's been helping me arrange a surprise. A vow renewal. For our anniversary. Her voice broke and she turned, her face a mask of guilt and fear. I've been distant because I was scared you'd find out. I wanted it to be perfect. My knees buckled, and I sank into the armchair, the letter falling to the floor. A vow renewal. The words felt like a lifeline, but they didn't fit. The cologne, the locked phone, the late nights, they didn't add up to a surprise party. You're lying, I whispered, my voice hoarse. If it's just a surprise, why do you look so guilty? Her eyes widened, and then she crumbled, sinking to the floor, her sobs shaking her shoulders. I'm so sorry, David, she choked out. There's no vow renewal. I've been seeing someone. His name's Robert. The confession hit like a tidal wave, drowning me in rage, grief, and a strange, sick relief. I'd known deep down, but hearing it made it real, undeniable. Why? I asked again, my voice barely a whisper now. The room felt smaller, the walls closing in. She crawled toward me, her hands reaching out, but I flinched away. I don't know, she sobbed. I was lost, and he made me feel seen. But I love you, David. I swear I do. I stood, my vision blurring with tears I refused to let fall. The letter lay crumpled on the floor, a symbol of the trust we'd lost. I'm going to the cabin tomorrow, I said, my voice cold, final. I want to meet Robert. Her sobs grew louder, but I walked out, the rain soaking me as I stepped into the night, knowing the real betrayal wasn't just her affair. It was the part of me that still wanted to forgive her.